Oh, hello. Morilibus here. Welcome to the Olympus server. You're here with me, the guy who just introduced himself. I think his name was Morilibus, perhaps. Alright, so I actually started running out of spruce wood, so I had to set up a tree farm. And I used to have one up in the tower. It was just being kind of built, but no room for that up there anymore. So I built this kind of temporary one just over beside the tower. Just like so. I really like using just massive amount of saplings. It seems to work quite well. Here I don't even know exactly. This is a total of 3 stacks worth of saplings planted on the ground here. And I've just got them divided up in a 4 wide row with glowstone to make sure there's adequate lighting in there. Hopefully. And so that no mobs can spawn even if there's trees grown. At least that's what I'm hoping. And then making use of the jump boost to cut them down, so you can cut down all sizes and shapes and all that stuff. But yeah, I was getting low, so I've been chopping down a bit here. But we can stop that and move on to our episode. The other reason I really like this is you can pretty much just chop indefinitely. You don't like chop down the trees, replant them, and then wait to plant or chop them down again. You just chop a tree down, plant it, and they seem to grow just as quickly as you can get rid of them. Like I've been going non-stop since I planted these things. I don't have to wait. You can always pretty much find a tree, at least so far. Okay. Now, on to the episode. Alright. So I've got this temporary input chest. I don't remember if I've shown it. So this does filter everything so far that is set up. And the rest isn't really sortable, I don't think. Well, the dirt and the stone is, but probably need that. So we'll hang on to that. And we'll let that run. I was also playing around with the idea. Someone asked in the last episode, is it theoretically possible to use kind of one sorter to sort up to 5 items? Since there's 5 slots, theoretically you could have it pull out 5 different items, and that's kind of true, but the filter portion of it itself would not function. So it will pull out whatever 5 items are here, however it will only get rid of this one. So this hopper down here would only pull out this item, and these other 4 would remain there. So eventually these would build up to a point where the filter would turn off, and this thing would be unpowered, this hopper there, and it would yank out whatever's in this slot and empty it out. And then anything coming along the pipeline would be able to go into this slot no matter what it was, rail, etc. And those other 4 slots would never get emptied out unless this was empty and then there was still enough items in here so that it was unpowering that hopper, and then that would come out, and then that, and then you'd have a giant, basically just a hopper, and everything would come down this way. So unfortunately no, but with my layout here, because I have this space, this gap between this guy and this guy, I have basically a sorter here and a sorter here. I have nothing here. And I was thinking I'd kind of neglected stone brick and or mossy stone and cracked stone. So I moved the stairs down here only just so I could make use of this chest. Now unfortunately I can't add another sorter back further for the bottom row, which is why I had to swap them around just based on how the stairwell is. So it kind of cuts into where I would need to place another filter. But I went ahead and added another filter right here. I currently have no blocks in them because I don't have any mossy or cracked. I have some stored away at the end. So essentially now I have 2 items going to one chest, but it's simply done by having 2 filters, and this bottom hopper just points into that hopper, which then goes into that chest. So this chest will have both mossy and cracked. So I can kind of do that on all the ends, really. I could do that over here too. Again, it would have to be this chest here. However, on the back side, because these stairs are going down, I probably won't have that problem. And I could do it for both this one and this one. And again, for these ones, these could all hold 2 items each, theoretically. Not sure if we'll bother. And then the same with the ones on this side. But not the ones on this side because of the stair being in the way. So yeah, anyway, kind of led me to that comment. So I was like, well, can't do that, but we could do this. So yeah, excellent. Still got to figure out items, where to put them, all that stuff. Why is there a hopper in there? You don't belong in there. You belong, I guess, over here? Sure. It's kind of a mess on this side of this wall. This is just the throw everything into any chest you can find. Alright, so what we're going to do today, I actually built a QOP off camera. However, it sucks. I don't know. 1.5 actually did break my my QOP. Even though when I've had my single player world, it slowed it down. I don't know by how much, but I think at least it seemed to have slowed it down. Hang on. Beard hair in my mouth. I swear. It's beard hair. Maybe. Okay. So yeah. Do we have... Let's take some redstone stuff with us. Which I guess is over here. What do we need? We might need some more repeaters, although I don't think so. I have a new design. Am I like eating my beard? Yum. I have a new design, and it's actually smaller, sort of, and quicker than the last. I might need a sticky. Let's grab one sticky here. Let's also grab a lever, wherever they might be. Come on. I know they're here somewhere. Just have no idea where. There. Okay, a lever. And I think that's it. So we're going to fix this. I also don't know how I'm going to do. Like right now there's no way up there except to go all the way over around this way, which I guess is okay. And of course ender pearl. Maybe that's the way we'll leave it. Or maybe I'll have some other entrance. But yeah, I've used it a couple times, or maybe even 3 or 4 times. And it feels like a long time. I tested it also in my test server to see just how long it actually takes to fill this thing up. And in single player, it's about 4 minutes. But in multiplayer, it's about like 5.5 minutes. And that depends on the server. So I came up with a different design, which I really do. I like it. Same idea. Still makes a giant block here. Same dimensions. Still takes 9 stacks. The only difference is it's 2 blocks off the ground. So instead of it being right here, the bottom of the layers start here. So you just go underneath and you dig up 4 blocks, which you can reach. And yeah, and then you'd be done. So I will go ahead and clear all this out so we can tear down this QOP, and we will make the new one real quick, hopefully. Alright, so this is pretty much my QOP. I modified some things from my original design. For one, the whole directional 1 tick thing. I used to have the repeater back there and redstone here. That's not reliable, and I think it works in some directions, but not all. So instead I had to move the repeater out here to power the piston, so that it makes a 1 tick. And that's why I have a sticky piston here, just to show that it's a 1 tick. Before it was pushing and pulling it back if I used a sticky. And it does that in my single player world if I put a sticky in there. Other than that, These are just droppers for decoration, but they do get activated, I think, somewhere. So this one's actually smaller as well than my original design, and I've used a different style of buds that I saw on Seth Bling's channel. So these are buds that use the redstone block. I think they're actually more expensive than the buds I was using before. But the nice thing is this signal here is actually a 1 tick. Here I've got it extended by 2 ticks, or converted to a 2 tick, so that it will activate torches, because 1 ticks don't work with torches anymore. But the one up here, I've not done that. I've taken I've taken that 1 tick pulse from right here, and that goes up here and straight across to those pistons that go down, and then I steal that signal and do the little off trick here to make sure this doesn't jam up. However, it works, but it's still slow. It's just as slow as, I basically just fixed it, but it's still too slow. So we are going to tear this thing down and build it again. Give me this pick. I want this pick. Now the new design, now I wasn't thinking of putting slabs. The reason I had slabs here is I was thinking of putting maybe hoppers underneath to catch all the things. Though I'm not sure if that's worth it. I think I might just have an input chest that you can dump things into as you're going. Reason being, especially now, let me just test something too. So now if we had it starting here, how many blocks can we reach? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we can get 4. So we could still do a lowered floor. Or actually what I'm thinking of doing is doing a raised floor. So it'll either be level with this floor, or I think it'll be half a slab higher. So that's okay. So if we know that, our first row of pistons will be actually here. And actually it'll be on top of that block. And okay. So let's get the center again. I had furnaces here so it wouldn't be able to push through the floor if it happened to. And we need regular pistons. And we need, whoops. We need a row of them. All the way down. All right, and then we got to put 3 more rows on top of that. All right, so those are all laid out. We can get rid of this. Now we're going to power these guys. We're going to set up the wiring. And the way we're going to do it this time, before we had like buses with torches on them, we're not going to do that this time. We're going to just have the wiring go right up against the pistons. And we're just going to power them this way. So this will power piston right below it. So like this block will power this piston, but it will also bud this piston. And that piston firing will cause that piston to fire as well. So they will all launch, I think, at the same time. And even if they don't launch at the exact same time, I don't think it's an issue. So we will just run these like so. And then we got to set up our pusher. We'll just leave this like that for now. All right. Get rid of the dirt. So now we got to set up this thing where we're going to be introducing the blocks into the system. And we're going to take a sticky piston and we're going to put it here. It has to go down 1. change that like that. Ooh, what just happened? And we'll do that. Okay. We're going to put a lever right here. Lever. We're going to put some redstone there and a repeater here. And all this is going to do is go, whoop. It's just going to push us up a block. It kind of glitches out. And then from there, we're going to set up our pushers. Now, in the previous design, I only had one. This time, I'm going to set up 4. So this will cover basically the whole area of this. So instead of having one row that would go across and then it would push down 4 times, and then it would get launched out this way, here we're going to have 4 blocks being pushed over, 4 blocks pushed over, and it will fill up much quicker that way. Now, I'm going to do this one a little bit different as well. In the previous one, we'd power it on this side, send it through to power the piston. This time we're going to power it on this side. We're going to send it through. Beautiful. And we're going to power it on this side instead. And what we will do is get some slabs going. Get our redstone dust. So the redstone dust will go like that. Oops. We just get the slabs going first. There we go. So that should, when I place a block there, we should see all 4 fire. And they're firing with a 1 tick, I do believe. So I do believe that's as fast as we can make it. So yeah, you can see it's not pulling the block back. So that is cool. So that takes care of that. And that'll push them all the way over. That's basically it for this part. And now for this side. So once the blocks get pushed over here, we need to detect that and then push out the wall. And to do so, we're going to use a bud, of course. And I'm going to use a similar bud actually in the original design instead of the bud I just showed in an altered version. And that's just because that one does react very quickly, but it's not as important in this one. And it's more expensive, and it also sticks out a little too far this way to the side, and has some, I think, more area that you got to cover up. So we will go for the other version, just a tiny little pushback one that kind of locks it in. And to build that one, we just gotta go like this. I think get some redstone, so that goes there. Nope. And then we need a torch. Torch here, which fires that guy. And then that, when that is there, it turns off that piston because that block powers that block. But anyway, we'll look at it as a whole in a second. Put some redstone down here. And then we're going to, let's see here. Is that needed? Yeah, that's needed. Okay. Put some redstone. Take a repeater. We're going to pull, whoops, pull that signal. So when that torch is on, it'll power that block. Repeater powers this block. And then we're going to put a torch there. And that is it for that one. So similar idea as the other ones, just a bit smaller. The other ones went out a bit further. But I don't need that anymore. So now whenever this gets fired, that's all it does. And then now all we got to do is steal a signal off of it. And we can either take that torch, or we could take this guy. And I think we'll just take him. Let's see, if we do like that. And I think I'll just do a repeater. Where is it going to make it? We'll see if it makes it. Might not even need a repeater. So from there, and then we got to get up to here as well. So maybe like that. Let's try that out. I guess all these don't have to be slabs, but we could see. I might need repeaters. Not too sure. Let's count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, we do need repeaters, so let's, oops, also need to do that. Let's take, and just so they all fire at the same time, put some repeaters there. And we should be able to test this out by... There we go. That's it. It's done. Game over. Yay! So now I will just put a block up here so that we have something to aim for. And now maybe we'll just do some dirt. So now this might not be quite right. I think I screwed up something. I think this is going to move back one more because I actually wanted to have a divider here. And I don't like the idea of this being right open, and then we can't decorate it as nicely either. So let me just push this guy over real quick, one block, and then we'll give it a test. Alright, there we go. That's the way I wanted it. So this lever here is just to make sure you're in position, because you have to be pretty much, I think, right here. You can't even be a half... You might be able to be a half slab lower. Let's just test out if that's even needed. I think it is. Yeah, so I'm looking up, but I can't reach that block. In creative you can, which I found out, but you can't in survival. So you just get in here now. This would be enclosed or however you want. Hit the lever. Oops, interesting. Don't push me out, jerk. And then we simply, let's just get a full stack of dirt. And now you put in 4 at a time. It will still be a little slower in SMP compared to single player. But I think I had about 2.5 minutes for single player and 2 minutes 50 seconds for SMP. And there we go. Then it's all out, and then you could just come here and you would mine it out. Whee! So I will probably, and then these in the last 4, and it actually fills up exactly, like it'll fill out all these extended all the way, and then these 4 blocks there will get filled with ore, and that will be your last out of 9 stacks if you choose to do 9 stacks. So I will have to pretty this up quite a bit. I'll probably, well, I'm going to rip out the floor regardless. Not quite sure I like it anyway. Decent little pattern, but I don't know. I think I'd rather just have this floor and not worry about hoppers. But we can decide that later. For now, I'll probably rip it out and do this pattern. And then if I want to add in hoppers later, I can. But because we'll be looking up, most of it will fall on us and we'll harvest it that way. And I mean, some of it will fall down. So who knows? Might be worth it, might not. I'll also reposition those glowstone. They were there to prevent mobs from spawning on the block when it's full. Okay, so we need to put storage for our ores, and I was trying to figure out where we could do it. Kind of needs about 8 length just to do a single one, not the full double decker or anything, but just a lower chest. It's not looking good, at least not here. I mean, this is about 8, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is in there. So really, well, if we start on this one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, could do something like that and have the chests right there, which is an option. And I'm trying to figure out what we need to sort, or we'd want stored over here. So we'd want coal. So coal, then what? There's lapis, there's redstone, diamonds, emeralds, quartz, and I think that's it. So I think it's 6. And I was counting before too, so we could put it there. It should be right off to the side of the quartz. Or I was thinking maybe here, underneath the quartz, or the QOP, sorry. Too many QO sounds rattling through my head. I'm not sure what I'm going to do over here, if this is going to wrap around at all and make it above this unit. Maybe some stairs going up. that might be an idea, in which case we'd probably want to keep this free. Mostly free. So what I was thinking is, instead of that, is why don't we just hide it underneath the QOP, since the QOP is kind of raised. Obviously I'd have to move the QOP forward to make sure I got enough room, and I was just trying to measure here. Hello, Dougie. So, good work. So why don't I play around with that and see how much room I actually need for these chests and get a sorter in place there. And then I'll move the QOP forward and we'll see how that looks. Maybe. So I moved it forward a bit. Also, I tore out the floor, which you probably may have noticed in the last clip. I just put in the full floor. I figure if we want to change it later, we can. We just have to be wary that underneath is this guy, so we don't want to come down too low, as I already feel the ceiling is a little low. We've got Iroh here. Diglett's gone. Oh no. No. Diglett's his pick. He is currently uploading his video, his next episode, which he's been having trouble uploading just due to some internet issues. So he's uploading right now, and it's making it incredibly laggy for him. But anyway, I digress. QOP time. Enough about Iroh. Who cares about Iroh? I don't. I mean, I do, but let's focus on us and me. So, yeah. I think this could work. So we could have our chests here that would have our items, and this is just a mock-up of a structure based on kind of what we need to conceal and what we don't. And I changed this around on this side. Made it actually a lot simpler. So here is that torch that powers the piston, and that used to drop down to some redstone, which went underneath, and then powered a block that used to be right here, and that powered the piston. Well, I made it a lot simpler. I just took the torch and put it over here instead. And that powers redstone dust, which powers that. So it's actually, like, the old design had a repeater here. And then it would put a block behind here. And I was just trying to make it one less deep than I needed to. Or make it a little bit smaller, but it's not a big deal, especially now that I've pushed it forward. So here's the sorter behind here, and I'm not quite sure. It does seem to... oops. It fits. Nope. It's here. There are some issues, which you can probably tell, if I put it right where it is. And that is, it's up against this. Now, what does that mean? Probably nothing, because these are typically off, except when the piston wall fires. So it probably won't be a big deal, but we still have to have some kind of hopper pipeline going across, right? Something like that. And the only time it would possibly fail is if items are coming along this pipeline that are supposed to be taken down, but instead this piston wall fires at that exact moment and locks this thing, and then the item would actually carry on and go that way instead of going down. Likelihood of that happening, very small. Will I leave it like this? Not sure. I might move it back one more. I probably can. So you can see this is the back wall, which I'm not sure if I want to, if the wall is going to be like right up against that, or let's say if that's the outer wall. I'm not sure if it's going to be like that, or if we're going to go ahead and bring it up by one more, or kind of bring it forward by one more. So if we end up doing that, then we'll have a bit more room to work with. And I think we might. Oh good, he found his pick. Woohoo! So yeah, I think that'll be it. So I think that will work. So I'll probably make it so that the outer wall ends up being here, whatever we end up doing. I mean, there'll probably be some other kind of pattern going on. And then I figure above this, we'll probably have another level kind of above the QOP, maybe another balcony of some kind, and then maybe some kind of window or something, who knows. And that'll be that. So I will probably continue working on this off camera, get the rest of these sorters in place. I'll probably bump that back one more just to allow for that, and I think that would work. Otherwise I can move the whole thing forward again. but I kind of liked how this lined up there. And I'm thinking of leaving it kind of up on ledges like that. I don't know, instead of having full blocks underneath it. Or stairs, that kind of looks cool. I could put another one here, but that would block the light. And then I'd have to make sure block light 7, 7, 8. Actually, it looks like it's okay. Because this would actually be, if I went down a block, it would be a totally different area of the map. Okay. Anyway, blabbing now. My apologies. Let's leave it at that for today. So we've got a QOP. It's fully functional. I'll probably leave it off by putting a load through here for you, just to show you what it could do. And we'll see you in the next episode.